Hello everyone, my name is Jana Stupowski and I'm your data visualization instructor. In today's video we're going to talk about how to build charts that express part-to-whole relationship. Part-to-whole relationships charts aren't just about how things are divided, but it's also about how they're divided in relation to their whole and in relation to each other. Typically, these types of charts deal with showing percentages of a whole, but that doesn't always have to be the case. We're going to look at several different versions of part-to-whole relationships charts. Let's get started. One of the most common part-to-whole relationships charts is a traditional pie chart. I am now showing you here, I'm now sharing with you here a blog from Data to Viz, and here they do a really good job of explaining the issue with a pie chart. Here we're looking at 3 pie charts, and clearly each color is a different piece of a pie, adding up to a whole circle. But looking at these pie charts, it is very difficult to tell by human eye and by quick glance at these charts which of the pieces of the pie are the largest and which ones are the smallest. So if we wanted to just tell our story about the largest contributor to the whole, it would be really hard to tell that story using these pie charts. A much better alternative to pie charts would be a column chart that very easily ranks these different categories, these different pie pieces, and now we can focus our story on a particular piece of pie, if that's what we wanted to do. But the human eye is much better at seeing the differences in length in these columns than noticing differences in sizes of the pieces of the pie. Another interesting example of part-to-whole chart is this visualization that's talking about the distribution of the world's wealth. As you can see, each color is a different world's region, and there are a lot of things that are simply wrong with this chart, although it was probably well meant. These shapes are almost impossible to compare simply because they all have different, well, shapes. It's also very busy, and it's impossible to read labels, especially on those small shapes. An alternative and an attempt to redesign this visualization is this. And it's really only showing us 3 out of the many countries that were shown on the previous slide. But if you look at Germany and China, the yellow area and the red area visually look almost identically large. But if you look at the numbers, 14,660 billion versus 63,827 billion, those are huge differences, yet they're visualized as if they were almost the same or very close to each other. By sharing these few examples with you, I wanted to point out how important it is to be strategic when we're selecting the right way to visualize a part-to-whole relationship. It is simply very easy to mislead our audience, and so let's look at some options how we can build part-to-whole charts in Tableau. This is a 100% stacked column charts. We are looking at trends in new versus existing home sales in Mobile and Baldwin counties using our real estate data set. And if you can see, our scales are from 0 to 100%. And our divider here in these bars is the color that basically slices each column between new and existing home sales. And it's very easy to tell that substantially more new construction or new homes are sold in Baldwin County than in Mobile County. Let's show you really quickly how such a chart can be built. We select sale date, and then we can, we're going to slice it by county, and then we're going to drag number of transactions here. We will switch it to a bar chart and stretch it across the entire view. And then we're going to drag our categorical field that separates new and existing into color. But right now our scale shows 0 to 8,000. So that's not what I want to show. I want to show a 100% stacked column charts, and so we're going to use a quick calculation, and we're going to use the percent of total. But our scale is still not where we want it to be, because it's showing us our scale from 0 to 20%, and we basically need to compute using at pane down level. And I'm going to put new construction at the top. And now we've got what we started with. So basically it's a standard 100% stacked column charts where we're using color to distinguish between two different categories. I wouldn't suggest going beyond 2 categories, because eventually it will become very difficult to tell the differences in trends. Another alternative to a stacked column chart is a stacked 100% area chart. And we accomplish that by simply selecting area chart from our menu. We have already covered the pros and cons of this type of chart in the previous video on trends and development over time, and you're welcome to watch that for a refresher. If we wanted to use the good old pie chart to express this part-to-whole relationship, we could come up with something like this. Again, we are showing here how sales of new homes versus existing homes have developed in each county over the course of 5 years. Now, this is something that a pie chart is probably not well suited to show, because showing development over time by using multiple pie charts is too busy. So in this case, we would probably just want to focus on 1 year, and I have selected year 2018, and we are comparing basically 2 counties. So we're looking at new versus existing home sales in Mobile and Baldwin counties in 2018. And the way we would build this chart would go something like this. We would first select year 2018, because that's the year we're going to work with. We're going to split the view into 2 counties, so Mobile and Baldwin. And we're going to select pie as a chart type. We're going to stretch them through the entire view. And we're going to drag our count of transactions into size and also into angle. And we will also drag new versus existing into color. And now we've got a quick view at 2 classic pie charts showing us how new versus existing home sales looked like in year 2018 in Mobile and Baldwin counties. We could perhaps look at a different pie chart that could provide us a snapshot of how sales of either existing or new homes looked like in year 2018. And again, so we're looking at existing home sales in Mobile and Baldwin counties, and we have ability to alter between new and existing. And the color now represents Mobile and Baldwin counties in year 2018. So here we're just looking basically at a snapshot in a point in time in home sales in these 2 counties. If you notice, our filter now includes not only year, but also we're showing our new versus existing filter. And We're still keeping count of our transactions into size and into angle, but now we have county in color. Keep in mind that a pie chart typically just captures or takes a snapshot of the data set in a point in time. And so showing part to whole relationship in development over time should not be addressed with pie charts. Also, if you must use a pie chart, I would highly suggest that you stick with anywhere from 2 to 4 categories. The last version of a part to whole chart that I would like to share with you today is called a tree map. And it is somewhat similar to pie chart because in this case it allows us to look at the data in one point in time, in this case in year 2018, but it gives us some more flexibility in terms of drilling into the dimension members and even displaying some labels. So what we're looking at here is a breakdown between Mobile and Baldwin counties' home sales in year 2018. Orange represents Mobile County, blue represents Baldwin County, but then the darker shade in each county represents existing sales, and then the lighter shade of the color represents new construction sales. So we can very quickly see how these different categories compare to others and to the whole. Let's see how such a chart would be constructed. First thing we need to do when building a tree map chart is that we need to set our chart type to square. I'm going to also filter for year 2018 because that's the only year we're going to look at. And what we're going to do now is we're going to drag our dimension that we want to slice the data by into color, and I want to slice it by county, and so I'm going to drag dimension to color. I'm going to stretch our visualization to the entire view, and then I'm going to drag, I want to look at the number of transactions, so I'm going to drag this field into size. And now I've got two colors representing two counties. This is sales, home sales in 2018. If I wanted to make it a little clearer, I can drag county and then number of transactions into label, so we can see how many homes were sold in each county in year 2018. But this type of chart allows us to drill in a little further. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a second level of data, a second level of hierarchy or another dimension into our view. And I want to split each county into new and existing home sales. And I'm going to drag that into and drop it onto the detail marks. What we could also do is the dimension, in this case new and existing, that we dragged into the detail that helped us slice each county into new and existing. We can click here and put it into color. So we're going to tell Tableau to move it from detail to color. And now this changes our color legend. We suddenly have 4 colors. This is probably one of the very few charts that allows that 2 different dimension fields are dropped into color. The main advantage of a tree map is that we can show hierarchical part-to-whole relationships really well, and we can also take advantage of labeling, especially the large shapes in the tree map. Thank you for watching this video.